All right,
Yeah.
man. Let's jump into my favorite section, Bitcoin.
Dale.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Let's jump into my favorite section, Bitcoin. So
All
what do we
right.
have there? What are the latest?
Okay. So I think we heard like there's been a huge amount of firms that have been jumping into the Bitcoin ETF. So I think like last week we mentioned there were a couple of big ones like JP Morgan Bitcoin, which uh, maybe previously they were not on Team Bitcoin, but now they've switched to Team Bitcoin. I think we heard Vanguard. They're also switching
Vanguard. I
teams.
didn't hear that one.
Vanguard.
Oh
They've
wow.
been will never support Bitcoin, and now they are hiring. I think the old BlackRock CEO, something like that, or not CEO, but leader of the fund, to come over to Vanguard to lead their new spot Bitcoin ETF. So lots of interesting movements here. But the point here is that there's a huge amount of firms, a bunch of new filings with the SEC that's really bumping up all of this
Yeah. One
assets under
interesting
management.
note there is that how do we know that, or how the industry knows, is because some people don't realize that there is forms that these firms they have to file with the government, and they're very common called the 13F filings, which they have to report to the government. Hey, this is how much we have purchased of Apple or whatever company, but also for ETFs, and that's the
Mhm.
reason why is not as obscure. We cannot know how many firms they have been out there buying and how much. Right now, it's about 3.5 billions, which is very good. It's like these are institutional investors, not your regular Eric and Mando, right?
Mhm.
Retail investors, right? So it's very good for the ecosystem. Also, I think that it will allow us to create a very solid foundation in this 50K ish range. Obviously, we're not finance advisors or anything like that, but with all of these, it creates a very nice support. And yeah, I'm excited for that. I think that is just more companies getting on board as we keep moving along.
Yeah. And we've talked about these institutional investors. With these ETFs, it allows institutional investors to get on board. Well, what we saw this week also, Wisconsin Pension Fund. So it's one of the largest pension fund. I think it's the eighth largest pension fund here in the US. They made an allocation of Bitcoin. I think it was just to start 160 million. But this is just a sign of what's to come. It's a very small purchase right now, still large purchase, but compared to their
Mhm.
assets under management, it's still under 1%. And what a lot of people, a lot of these institutional buyers are starting to see is they need to do maybe a 1 to 2% investment. So they're the first one, and usually that's the hardest one, right? The others will begin to follow. Pension funds in the U.S. It's a huge amount of they have a huge amount of assets under management, so this is also gonna go towards moving the needle in terms of Bitcoin price.
Yeah, no, and I think that they are creating the playbook, so in that way other institutions they can do it. So um, this is only one basically one city, right? In mine in a city you have also different institutions. You have hedge funds on pension funds for teachers, for firefighters, right? For police departments, any other kind of government institution that they have their employees, and then you start seeing this amount percentage, right? So it is massive. I think that that's the reason why you might think that right now the price is pretty high, but yeah, it has still rooms to grow. And also the other way that some of the Bitcoiners are seeing it is to be able to start taking some of the money that is being allocated for gold. So just that alone, that's the reason why the argument that the price still has room to grow. On top of that, inflation, right? I,
Mm-hmm.
I I was joking with people that I need to have different references, and right now my yardstick is how many bitcoins. And in order to translate how many, what is the kind of the rationale on the Bitcoin is like, okay, how many Teslas I can buy with my Bitcoin?
We need the one Bitcoin to one Tesla ratio.
Yes, a yardstick. In Wall
Your
Street,
yardstick, huh?
usually when they say one yardstick is 1 million, so like just two yardsticks. So it's gonna change that to how many bitcoins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's part of the fun, right? Like we've shared the meme before, the grocery store meme. How much can you
Mhm.
buy with one Bitcoin? Before it was just like this much, and now it's like this much. Your card is full with one Bitcoin, or you
They're
have
such a yeah.
overflowing.
And then that was the other one that I like is the meme where one guy has one Bitcoin and he basically goes through the all of that, but the last picture is a castle.
Yeah,
It's
a
to
castle in the
know that
citadel.
that has one whole Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah, pretty interesting. So just a reminder, y'all, there are some minimums that a lot of other Bitcoiners or YouTubers out there recommend. I see a point, they used to be get at least one Bitcoin. Now then it was at least 0.28 Bitcoin. And now people are recommending, hey, get at least zero point 0.1 Bitcoin if you can, right? I think these are some minimums that a lot of people should at least strive for.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the right now one of the expensive paintings, right? Do you remember the painting? Is this guy? It was Leonardo da Vinci, the one that he painted, but they found it. Is basically I'm trying to remember the paint. Salvador Mundi. I just googled it.
Oh,
Uh,
the one with
uh,
the guy that holding the
no, it's basically
no.
it's like a Jesus with the fingers and they
Oh, okay.
they repair it. But it's my point is like that one is worth. Uh, I was acquired a couple times, right? But it's in the 100 million like price tag.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, it's like obviously this one is because you're never gonna get another back, and I think that that's what I'm trying to make the point. With Bitcoin, it's only fixed supply, so you cannot mint them back. So that's the reason why they are becoming collectibles and something that you don't need to preserve and all of that, right? So it's technology. So uh, that's what I think in my mind is more like a collectible that you can park your cash. And some other people they call it store of value, things like that, right? But for me,
Mm-hmm.
in my brain, that's how I'm thinking. It is more like a collectible.
Yeah. Yeah. The more scarce it is, typically, the more valuable it is. I mean, it's not the case for everything, but that's where a lot of financial folks have done. Again, we're not financial analysts and stuff like that, but that's typically the traditional wisdom that you see.
I think that we have a good one, man.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's pretty good. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We love to hear from you. If you haven't watched our viral Bitcoin all time high meme remix, check it out on our channel. We have now over 10,000 views. And then our having remix now also has over 2,000 views. So we're doing great. Keep it up. Keep watching those. That's all we've got for today. Dale.
Dale.